What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Showtime is Liz again with King's Critiques, and we're back for a lovely manga because of what weirdly wonderful workplace. Which other day I realized I'd been uploading the title of the thing wrong, so I started to fix it, at least on the YouTube side of things. And man, I wish somebody had told me that the title was messed up because it was spelled only slightly wrong, but with the way I work, that bothered me. But at least I've been better about it the past couple of days. That said, catch up here is somebody else wanted to grab Futami for her own work staff. And, well, Sato was just a wee bit jealous of that, so she made her thoughts known to Futami, and Futami, being how she is, turned down the other person, and Sato was pleased to keep her to herself. But this probably won't be the first time this happens. What'll happen next time? Will Sato be a little more aggressive? According to things I saw on Facebook months ago? Perhaps. But that's for then. This is for now. And you guys can hit the like button, subscribe, let the whole video run through lane with the watch time, and let me know your thoughts on the show either before or afterward, because that is all highly appreciated and helpful to the algorithm. That being said, let us get into it, shall we? Okay, look, I was right. But that's also kind of, like, when shows, show characters of pretty much the entire cast in the intro, they're gonna be introduced throughout the series at some point or another. And that's actually kind of what makes things that don't get season 2 kind of a pain in the ass sometimes, because you see characters in the intro and you never find out who they are. Or, in some anime, you see characters in the intro that have a lot of hype and awesome aura to them, and they die within one episode. At least this is one of those animes, I think. Never know when shit could get weird. We did start watching that bowling anime that turned into an isekai. We were not expecting that one, and I will finish that one of these times, because not only does it have the Yuri energy, it also was a very interesting show because of how weird it was. Anyway, back to the shut-in, the NEET. Another pretty relatable character, honestly. Yeah, you'd think someone that's working anonymously would answer a video call. Maybe by accident. Only showing the top. I wonder if that's intentional or just because she needs to, put her seat up to be more visible. Like I have to do these. I don't have to do it to stream, but to do these, I definitely have to. So I'm, more on camera and more this. Because I'm one of those people that is very animated when I'm talking about something heated, so... There we go, she brought it down. Apparently she did not mind showing her face. She just never thinks about it otherwise. Are they both in a state of... she's adorable. That's a good potential thumbnail. I mean, she might be young. She might still be in high school for all you know, and that's why she's more of a anonymous assistant. Because if people don't know her age, they can't judge her. Right? That's how, honestly, but that's probably how things should be in the content creation world, frankly. Like, if you're below the age of fucking 16 or 18 or whatever, put yourself out there anonymously to do whatever kind of content you're going to do, unless you're doing some crazy shit that might get people questioning your existence. Yeah, Futami doesn't know how to take this one. Oh no, now she's self-conscious because they called her, so they think she's done something. Or she thinks she's done something wrong. Oh no. Yo, I get that vibe though. Lots of times where I'm just texting just fine with somebody. Okay, well, used to. And then when it's a call, it's like, uh-oh, what I do. Okay, so is she somebody who actually is just very sensitive? Or is it one of those things where she's just screwing with them because of her young appearance? Because it could be either, honestly. Also, decent clip for thumbnail material, because it's the first time we see her on screen, so... And this definitely has space enough for me to be able to cut the image. And this is the part where they realize she's underage, but by how much? I mean, technically, she's your boss, so she wants to pay for your transportation. Is that really a bad thing? I mean, yeah, you can feel bad about it, but if she's offering to pay, dig it. Not often people's bosses offer to pay for their travel. I also think Futami might be overwhelming her just a little bit, which actually is very funny, considering Futami is usually the one being overwhelmed. Oh god, it's gonna be one of those situations where Hazami's gonna be the one comforting two anxiety-ridden people. Okay, so she is underage to a point. And while people can drink in European areas under the age of 16, I do not think it is the same for Asian areas. I could be wrong. Again, I don't know a lot of details about stuff like that, nor how they were now or how they are now compared to, decades ago. Because again, my assumption on Europeans under the age of 16, probably to as young as, I don't know, 14, maybe, I would assume. Because I'm just spinning this off from a Simpsons reference from many years ago. I wouldn't all think they'd allow children to drink at the age of like 8, like Lisa was in that episode. But I also know that European areas, specifically like Russia or something, don't have as hard of standards to how old somebody needs to be to drink. Again, could be wrong. Anybody who lives in those areas could correct me in the comment section. But yeah, just going off hearsay. And while she can't drink, she could still go meet them for food. Another good thumbnail option. Only 5 minutes into the episode, we've already gotten a couple of these. Pretty cool. Secondly, I am glad that at least the first underage character in the show isn't someone I have to have moral qualms about, because while she's adorable, she's not like, yeah. Yeah, they're both confused how she's so talented at such a young age. Man, I would kill to be able to go back to that age and be so talented in anything. Specifically promoting YouTube videos, because, like, if I could have already had my main channel go off by the time I started this one, imagine, right? Unfortunately, promoting YouTube videos is probably the hardest part. Editing videos is difficult, but, like, promoting them, that's a whole other thing. I mean, shit, I worked really hard on that last video and barely got any traction as much as I would have liked. But I have another video in mind that is also another subpar bit of effort, but at least it's something I've had in mind since CA's release. But that's for the gaming channel. This is for here. Let's continue. That's another thing that's confusing to me as far as, like, countrywide differences. Is like start of high school for Americans is like 14, 15. Start of high school for Asia is 16. What? Buddy, hush. It really breaks my heart when a cat just meows for no reason. Ain't nothing wrong with her, she just meows. Then if I hear the pitch increase anymore, I do have to go look because one of them's stupid enough to get their leg caught in their cat tree. Anyway, as I was saying, yeah, how does that break down exactly in Asia? Because I have heard a few different times that the years of high school compared to the age compared to here, way different. I refer back to my neat comment from before, by the way, because, well, also I feel personally attacked because it's probably around the same age I stopped going to school, because once I had permission to not go to school, I just didn't. Because, I mean, I will give credit to schools back then when I was going that at least they did better than schools nowadays probably do. Because that, well, I'm not going to get into too heated of a topic, but I'm just saying that certain policies that schools go under now are the reason why a lot of people now are so fucking stupid. Also, I think that's really cool for people in charge of businesses like that to be able to check social media and, throw an offer at somebody that they see on social media, which I think that's one of those things that America should open up more to, because more people have talent than people realize. Everything's all about get a college degree to do this, get a piece of paper to do that, or let people that have talent do the things that they need to do instead of the people that don't have any clue. Referring specifically to like the modern day in the entertainment industry. Because I mean, not just anime and like the isekai genre that I bitch about being the same exact thing just rewashed with a different skin every time. Have y'all seen any crime dramas over the last 10 years? They're also basically the same thing, rewashed with a different skin every time. They don't even give effort with half of them. I mean, shit, Law and Order, CSI, these kind of things are literally just the same thing. Every episode within a season probably has the same kind of cases within. I don't know that specifically, but I bet if you went to check, at least an 80% similarity ratio. So, like, that's the reason why people need to look into other sources than the professionals. Fuck, I'll bring up even a 2-second stint to add in about the difference between, like, Hollywood's vision of video game adapted horror movies and someone like Markiplier. I went to see Iron Lung. Didn't watch his gameplay playthrough of it years ago. Didn't watch any of his lore drop videos about it. But heard he did it. Went to see it. Loved it. Watched the gameplay afterward. Not the lore video, because that was an hour of my time that I didn't want to give in. Maybe I'll throw it on in the background cleaning or something. But point being, the people who aren't professionals often can actually do it way better. Hey, don't worry about it. It's better than winning an award that basically becomes useless that you spent money on. I'm still hoping and praying that when the Gen 5 one happens with that group that took over the Gen 2 thing, that I can be added into the thing. I will ask the people in charge of it again, and fingers crossed. But that's a whole other thing. I just wanted to add in my own self-defeatism because, well, having to pay $30 for those things, I got 3 of them. My cousin has one. Pay $100 total for them, and then they all become useless because my name is basically in the annals of time as opposed to the actual record books. To be fair, you don't hold any expectations about her work hours per se. And somebody like that who's just driven and determined enough would just stay up all night even against your own word anyway, because it'll get shit done, right? Honestly, that's part of the reason why I should just try to do my gacha game stuff more during the day as opposed to night. Because that way, if I have enough drive and motivation, I could do more stuff during the nighttime. Like, bruh? Also, what is this motion against the keyboard with the feather duster? Just tap, 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 tap. Why does she have a suitcase with her? She doesn't plan on staying with them too, does she? Then again, based on the intro, maybe she does. Nashida just standing there, just like, great, another woman impeding on mine. So what you're saying is to ship them. Got it, Futami. Why is Nashida mad? That's just one less woman that's potential to steal Futami. Although Sato kinda already wins over you, at least it's one less that is there that you have to worry about. Listen, I already said it. I'll ship it. Nashida, you also don't own the place. What the fuck do you have to say about it? Damn. Futami just pointing out the obvious. At least she's an honest alcoholic, okay? Like, she's very sappy and emotional, but she's an honest alcoholic. Also, relatable. I'm very uncomfortable around unfamiliar people, too. Which is why I do what I can, in business situations, because at least it's business. But that's also kind of the problem with like talking to people in general. Like, granted, when people say shit to me, I'm at least open about it. You know, I think usually often that comes down to helpful in store situations because I've had people help me, I've helped other people, and it's good vibes. You know, that's the right kind of thing to do. Which also, by the way, if someone ever asks you a question in a grocery store, do what you can for them. Like, I'm not gonna go on too long of a rant, but I'd like to say I did decent enough helping the other day. I was in a store and somebody asked me, somebody of a not national persuasion asked me, if you catch how I mean. So there wasn't very clear converse or connection words. I guess connection would be the right way to put it, like understanding, that kind of thing. Yeah, anyway. But like, dude showed me what he was looking for because he was in the bakery aisle looking for garlic bread. However, he was looking for garlic bread in the freezer aisle. So I just kind of looked at it. I was like, oh, that's over that way in the freezer. I was like, freezer. It's like, yeah. It's like, yeah. Or like the time I got help from an older gentleman because you know how in grocery stores when you're getting fruits and you gotta put them in the bag and then put on the scale and type in a number and you slap it on the bag. The thing I was grabbing didn't have a number attached to it, but luckily there was an old dude who remembered the number that apparently had been the same number for like 40 years. Crazy how stores don't change some things and then they change other things. Actually, before I hit the play button, 2-second complaint about that. You can change how your shopper club card work, but you can't change stuff like that. The hell, man! Just leave everything the same. What's wrong with you? Okay, end of thing. Hazami looks extremely concerned where this is going, or maybe amused to see Nashida get taken down a notch. Either way, play the game for a few rounds, and that's how it goes. I don't think I could ever become upset. Well, maybe if I don't know. I don't think I've ever had the personality to like learn a game and then be humored that I'm good at it to the point where I become obsessed with it. But and clearly I've like played games where I try it and then it seems like it's something that I could be decent in, so I just keep on with it. But eventually, even though it was just kind of like, oh, it's really a sad part about how some games work. Like, I'm not gonna say in the same regard as that whole thought process, but I'm gonna take another sidebar moment just to be like, Arknights really had a lot of promise and seemed like a lot of fun. The battle mechanics great, but a at least 2 hour long level of tutorial stuff, and then random farming that you're gonna need to remember to pick up every single day. Their gotcha system kinda sucks. It's generous, don't get me wrong, but it kinda sucks, especially if you want certain characters. I have 3 days left until the end of the month. I could try to grind it out for my 6 star, but by this point, I don't think I'm gonna. But we shall see. Alright, side rant done. Ayo? Okay, you know what? Actually, that's kind of understandable. Someone being overly kind to you kinda, yeah, does that. Which is kind of the reason why I'm, like, so honest about things, because if I'm gonna have somebody, like, treat me nice, I'd rather they know what kind of person I am to begin with. I'm a very nice person. Very sweet, very helpful. But also very... what's the word? I guess attached would be a word for it. Because, like, if someone is super nice to me to a point, depending on the situation, I might just, which isn't a healthy mindset, no. Need to know boundaries, and for the most part, I do. But that's, what makes it hard to connect to people is, like, getting shown too much affection, and with how much that I have been derived of, it's just kind of like a kind of, yeah. No, but Nashida also kind of based for that one. Like, that is, again, a very true statement to be had. And also why people that work as bosses in certain industries, while they don't always have to be nice to their people, especially if their work sucks, because sometimes people's work do suck, and that's the exact reason why people need to, like, learn better. But also sometimes it's the bosses of things that make things suck more, so that's kind of unfortunate. I mean, look at KFC. Whoever the fuck took over the last several years ruined how good the food was. It's not like the food's not okay still, but man, it just ain't the same. Like, again, just quick sidebar. I do a lot of these and editing me hates it, but whatever. Go look at Peeb's video about eating KFC for 1 week and his thought process about what happened to the, famous bowl with the chicken and mac. Basically how I feel about what happened to their chicken nuggets. Because they weren't chicken nuggets before. They were popcorn chicken. And now they're replaced for uncrispy, unseasoned chicken nuggets. Which is just so depressing. Like, if you want unseasoned chicken nuggets, go McDonald's. They're at least a little crispy. And since they changed the white meat, at least in my opinion, they've been way better since I was a kid. When I was a kid, I literally used to do the fat ass thing of taking the skin off the chicken and just eating that. Because the nuggets weren't even that good when I was a kid. Now, they're actually pretty good. Like, I don't often eat the BK nuggets, but they're still probably better than whatever the fuck inbred chicken pieces are made for KFC stuff now. Though, again, I have a lot of issues with how KFC does their food. Like, they're one of, if not the biggest chicken industry, and they have done nothing to help their business. But because they're seasoned in the metaphorical sense of they've existed for a long time, people still go to them. But that's how big brand corporations ruin their product and people don't care and just keep going. Kind of like Red Platform. It gets ruined, and no matter how much it gets ruined from the creator perspective, the viewers still come in. Some of the viewers are starting to know some of the issues too, though. Like streaming. Why the fuck do people have at symbols on their names in stream chat? That's just dumb. Like, I get it, so people can't change their name temporarily to something insane or topical, but still, bro. Yeah, no, I get that. When you're a professional shogi player and you actually lose, that probably does not help your mental state at all whatsoever. Yeah, no, okay, I definitely ship it. Like, it's not only the matter of how much they got along earlier after Nashida started to play, but now it's also the way they can vibe with each other based off their own depression, which is not a matter to laugh at, mind you. But honestly, I think what's better, or well, not better per se in one sense, but what's just as good as a happy couple being together, it's a couple who are depressed about their own things, but then are happy when together. Like, that's honestly fun shipping material to me. Is like people who are both so sad, but then they find happiness with one another. Now, honestly, that's just the ship fuel and probably not canon. Though we're only halfway through the series, so you can't prove that. And also, ending of this thought process, another good thumbnail material. This episode's full of a lot of them. Meanwhile, Hazami is the only one that doesn't have a problem because she's simply the assistant to Futami, so she's just kind of sitting there like, yeah. I feel bad for them. Though, I guess, from Toko's perspective, that's kind of like, I don't know, while maybe giving up in that light isn't what they were talking about, I suppose what she's talking about is kind of what runs through celebrities' minds before they, you know, not to stick too much on that topic, not to name names, but I will admit I am often confused about the people who do that. Because, like, people have the best kind of lives, they make so much money. A lot of people love them. Granted, maybe too many to the point where they're overwhelmed. But, like, friends, family, fans, all that stuff. I get it can be overwhelming, but it's also like, what other kind of things are happening in your personal lives that you take that inevitable step forward? I question that a lot of the time, and we'll never know, even for the people that made it oh so obvious. But that's, I guess, part of why I don't try to hide things either. Not even through, like, metaphors, because I just don't say the obvious because otherwise Granddaddy YouTube will be all wine. But, well, to answer Hazami's question there, people don't quit, at least in the aspect of some things not pertaining to the statement I made a moment ago. Drive, determination, hope, sticking it to the man, these are all good reasons. I mean, hell, that's why I continue on to do what I do. I mentioned before the only reason I stick on this planet realistically is because I have animals and, like, at least one person familial that actually does depend on me. So even if it's a given for the sake of, caring about me, at least I am helpful to take care of people and things in that regard. But why don't I quit this? Why don't I quit the other channels? Because of what I just said. Because it'd be so easy to just give up on things and go, work for the man and, beat somebody up, end up in jail, and regret life more than I already do. Or I do the right thing and keep, trying to work in the field I am, and hopefully it gets to the point where this does what it needs to do. But to the people listening to this point, I will mention, as I often do, that's where it kind of needs y'all's help. Like how y'all can point out things that would be great to see in the shorts. What a lot of, you know, the life lessons I do give, and just like, instead of it just being like sympathetic, apathetic, I always forget which is which. Understanding how depressed characters feel. Because I do give a lot of good life lessons. Granted, some of them are very brutal. You know, cases of where I say, if you're bullied, bully them back. Because, hey, I still believe that's true. If it gets you kicked out of school or something, well, that school sucks anyway. Like, I believe if somebody's being bullied in school, whether it be, middle, high, even college is a little more finicky, but you should be able to hit somebody. Like, period. If you can prove they're bullying you, if you have at least a small group of friends who can vouch for you, or even a couple of other people who aren't your friends, because, friends will lie for you. I mean, there's still probably stories even to today of people who get bullied for no reason just because they're different. And it's not the same level of different as back when I was young, and people probably could have been bullied for. The video game anime thing. I was never bullied like that, but I went to a certain course of classes because of people with my kind of mental functionality. So I didn't have to deal with that kind of bullshit. But I'm aware it probably did happen. And here's the thing. If somebody pushes you to the ground while you're trying to get to your next class, what you should do is you should get up and allegedly take off your backpack and hit them in the gut with it. Because you probably have a couple of pretty hefty books, and they won't want to fuck with you again. Or if they do, ramp it up next time. Because here's the thing, it's better to pay back your bullies at the time than let it turn into a incident. Because those kind of things are really fucked up. And I have a whole different spiel on that. But point is, those shouldn't be as common as they are for practice to defend against them is the thing. What there should be practice to defend against is the bullies that cause the shit 9 times out of 10. But this is a gay anime about mangaka, and I'm getting into a topic about pew-pewing. So I'm gonna stop that topic and get back to this, because I started on one thing and then went to something else, which happens a lot. But hey, that's also half the fun of this channel, is I can start on something meaningful and then end up on something meaningful in another way. But half of that also doesn't matter to the show itself, so like I said, like, comment, share with your friends, and let me know what kind of lessons of stuff for shows I check out you might want to talk about in the comment section, because even if it's not brought up in the episode, I'm always happy to talk with people about things that might be in their mind in the comment section, to do with the show or otherwise. Hey, yo! Now Hazami wants a piece? I mean, hey, she can sleep between both of you, and Futami can sleep next to Hazami. Sato asking her out. Nothing wrong with Korean barbecue. Or, well, not Korean barbecue, but, barbecue. They're in Japan, so obviously it wouldn't be Korean barbecue. Or would it be? I don't know. Oh, no. It is a work meeting. She was so hopeful it would be like a date or something. I think even Sato wanted it to be just between them. That speaks volume, doesn't it? Sato just being protective over her employee. Yeah, that's it. That's the only reason. Yes, she does. For obvious reasons. Okay, that's weirdly close to the name of an actual show with similar art to that, I'm pretty sure. Also, I'm having a hard time deciding on who the best girl of the show is. I'm not gonna lie. Like, Takizawa's kind of a hard ass, but she's also kind of got a vibe about her, like I said in the first place. Sato's also kind of hot and has a vibe about her. And, well, Futami's relatable. She's attractive, but I don't know. I think it's more so hard to call between Sato and Takizawa. Because all the women in this are very attractive. And we're going to set Nekonote on a little sidebar here because she's underage and just simply adorable. But yeah, every woman in the show is very attractive in their own right. Now she's asking for Futami's help. Damn, now Sato being rough about it. Okay, I'm also gonna point out, I'm sorry if like my eyes have kind of done a weird thing the past few minutes, because I can feel them sticking together and like lizard blinking almost. And that might look weird. Like my eyes don't seem normal enough as is half the time, but like the way it looked like I was lizard blinking, if anybody noticed, probably seemed pretty fucking trippy. Meanwhile, Futami's just sitting there like, are they all fighting over me? Wait, they're fighting over me! Yep, it hit her. She is the center of attention. She's getting drunk off the power. Which, again, understandable. I don't think I've ever had power, but anytime someone has actually, like, asked on me, and then somebody else has asked on me, only happened a couple times in my life, but hey, it's a good feeling when multiple people ask for help on something. Yeah, turned from her hoping it was kind of like a mini date with Sato to a work argument. But it did help inflate her ego a little bit. Oh wait, I actually think this is the scene I saw all those months ago. Not like this in the moment, but what's about to go down. Also, speaking of volleyball and manga, I'm surprised we don't have like a Yuri-esque volleyball manga or anime yet. Because there's so many cute girls doing cute things level anime, and a lot of them involve sports. I'm surprised one isn't about volleyball. Like, is the underground Yuri Association worried they can't match up with Haikyuu's awesomeness by bringing some Yuri into the fold? Never seen Haikyuu, I just know how much it's loved by the community. But is that like one of those worries that people have? Because, I mean, I've seen a lot of different random anime involving Yuri-ish tendencies that involve sports. First one off the top of my head is Ping Pong Girls. Then there was Bakuan that involved girls riding motorcycles. There was one that actually involved a cycling club just a season or two ago, I'm pretty sure. I think they're. Oh, wait, no, that's not Yuri. Though I do think there is a baseball one that is Yuri. But yeah. My point being, am I wrong, or did one pop up that I'm unaware of? Because I feel like volleyball and Yuri would be a very fun way to go about things. That that's basically going back to the 80s. Though Alf was more of a comedy, there probably were some pretty dramatical parts. I never watched the series. My dad loved it. I know about the character. I've seen a bunch of bits. Weirdly, the clips still get used for like You Laugh You Loses nowadays. Honestly, kind of impressing. That shows how much the comedy holds up. And just the way her mind works is blowing Sato away even more than it already does. But that intrigues her more, probably. And again, I'm sidebarring from my own thought of this is why I wish I were better with literary skills, typing, writing, all that. Because, high key, I've had a lot of story in mind for things. Like I said about the Yuri volleyball thing, that's one of those stories in mind that is probably going to happen at some point if it hadn't been done already. But I definitely come up with a lot of ideas in mind about things I would love to write about, and breaking a huge wall down to mention that a lot of my writing in that format unfortunately only gets done, through writing with another person and having those thought processes grow and the story grow. But I would still like to be able to properly write a story. I tried a long time ago, and the rating I got was it was okay, cliche, and I needed more world building. Maybe one of these days I'll go back to that story. I think I still have it saved, so maybe I'll try and change it, edit it, make it more precise, or at least add some cliff notes to help out. I think that's my problem though, is I have so much I want to do because nothing is successful. It's not helping narrow down something. Granted, I will say, regardless of how I got to where I am now, for the most part, there are a lot of you that comment on my videos, even if it's just 90% the shorts. And I do highly appreciate all the good stuff. Even the bad stuff isn't really that terrible. I haven't at least been told to actually off myself yet. At least on a video. People have talked shit to me, but honestly, even the shit talking isn't that bad. I brought it up before, on the pre-Valentine's Day video, where someone mentioned that, I look like someone who would enjoy my dress-up darling, and an added comment was I look easy to draw. And frankly, that's not too bad, honestly, because looking easy to draw can be taken as an insult, or it meant that you don't have enough of a fucked up face to where it's hard to draw you. Silver lining. And the part about liking Dress Up Darling? Listen, if you're gonna talk shit about an anime that draws people in with the fan service and then hooks them with everything that's good about the show, that means you only watch the first episode or two or only see scenes that show the obvious and ignore everything else. Like how Dress Up Darling is one of the pieces of content that first opens up about being okay about, cross dressing in cosplay or otherwise. Things that open up. Actually, no, yes, that's basically an end statement. Between what happened in season one with Shinju and letting her cosplay as the guy character, regardless of how ridiculous her honker bonkers are. or season 2 with Amane or Marin doing the cross-dressing cosplay. So, like, unless somebody straight up tells you off yourself half the time with an insult, it's not really that bad, realistically, if you think deep into it. Like, I've been insulted a lot, but honestly, people on YouTube are a lot kinder than people in reality. Which is weird to say, but I'm sure there'll be a couple of you at some point or another. All I do hope is the people that do the things they do keep doing the things they do. Liking, subscribing, sharing stuff is always appreciated. Pointing out in the comment section of things what kind of stuff I should try to include more in my shorts rather than just like funny bits or bits that'll make people question, oh, what's going on here, and want to come check out the main product. So, I kind of understand Futami's point in things of I want to be able to do this, I want to be able to do this, I want to be able to do this. It's way too much to want to do, but I want to do it because it's something that's growing in here and in here. And this is one of those things where it's kind of hit and miss, because then there are times you can talk shit about people and it's true. Like the people that finish certain anime and don't do it based off from the manga's production properly. Like Promised Neverland. Because while I enjoyed season 2 for the most part, seeing people talk about it more and more as the years go by, I kind of understand why people didn't care for it. Because apparently there was a lot that was missing in the good half of season 2. And then there was the clip show that happened in the last episode that totally could have been a season 3. And then there's, well, half of Disney remakes over the past 10 years. Because it's not quite in the same light as that sentence, but that's more of in the, you have a masterpiece, you could leave it alone, but instead you finish it in a floppy fashion. Actually, maybe not even just Disney remakes, there's a lot of Disney originals that have been really just god-awful lately. Or maybe it's a post-credit thing. Oh, yep. This is the scene that I saw all those months ago. Is Sato being so defensive about her employee. Yep, Sato's laying her claim down. And you know the look on her face says that's way more than just a professional thing. Because, yeah, she might be a little drunk, but even drunk people, I don't think, get that red in the face when talking about something like that. Or as possessive, mind you. Which, again, I kind of dig it in this aspect. She is not. But why not? It's such the expression. And she's not taking no for an answer. She don't care. Honestly, she's probably more lenient than the other two would be. Like, I know she was trying to say a lot of that at the end there was, working with her professionally, but the look on her face definitely said otherwise. But hey, that's just a theory. An anime theory. Okay, sorry, anytime I fucking think of the old Matt Pat thing, it's literally just him, like, adding shades to himself when he says that shit. I know that was never a thing. Okay, well, it might have been once or twice. I don't know, I didn't watch a lot of game theory content, but I always kind of had that vibe. That's one of those things where, the dark tinted shades just kind of drop down. Anyway, enough about my own mindset and thought process. Holy shit, I've been recording this single episode for over an hour. This is why it's hit and miss on if I can finish the series today, but we'll try. Anyway, on topic. Continuing on about the show itself being, whether it be professionally or otherwise, I dig their vibe together. They're great together. It'll be fun to see the rest of the series, since I honestly thought this scene was more at the end of the season, because it vibes like it would be. But maybe the end of the season will be something a little more personal. Which, speaking of the gay, I still do totally kind of ship Toko and Nashida, because they kind of had a cute interaction together. But will they actually get to meet Nekonote in person, or are they just gonna keep working analog? Suppose we'll see. And I guess with all my rants, you can let me know any of your personal thoughts about any of that stuff in the comment section down below, as well as just anything in general, anything to do with shows, movies, etc. I should check out this season, next season, or in general. Please don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe to the other channels in the description, ring bells, like Facebook, follow Twitter, and Blue Sky, keep updated with things, though sometimes I forget like I did yesterday, oopsie. TikTok, Patreon, where you get the full unedited visuals and audio of the stuff I upload here, because while I can't give you the opacity version like I used to be able to because of YouTube's pathetic AI, I still am able to give you all the stuff over there. And I think maybe Patreon has actually grown the intelligence to like refresh their hours I can upload monthly instead of just after someone gets charged money. Though maybe I should like charge for the thing at the end of the month, just in case. Actually, I don't know. Well, we'll see. Patreon's a whole different thing. I do get money accumulated over there, though, so, if you like seeing my full unedited everything, even if it's just my facial reactions as opposed to verbal ones that I leave most of in here, or anything that I might consider too controversial for YouTube that I clip out, because I bring up a lot of shit that I do clip out in some episodes, because I think about it afterwards when I'm editing, and I'm like, this probably is not good using YouTube, because a lot of people will bitch at me, and I don't mind hate comments, like I said earlier, for the most part. But I also don't need people, having my entire comment section filling with even just 5 or so hate comments. But yeah, Patreon's great for that. Anywho, Twitch. Twitch is a thing I do too. Haven't streamed in a while. Plan on doing it soon. I've said that for 2 months now, but I really will get back to it. I promise. It's just the YouTube thing. Because, why am I going to stream to 0 people instead of uploading videos that even a couple of people will watch? Because at least in this case, I get anime watched. Or in the other cases, I get gameplay stuff done. That all being said, I'm Blaze King with King Critique, so I'll talk to you for now. Peace.